Hey guys, Tony Pizza Guy here. Just wanted to give you a big heads up that this podcast was recorded at Magnum Pro Magnum Mania. So there is a training class going on behind us, and the audio levels do get a bit high. Also, the microphones we were using weren't the greatest, so it picked up a lot of noise, and they did peak a lot. So just a heads up, you might want to turn the volume down, adjust it as needed, but unfortunately, I can't go back and grab this audio and make it any better because this is the best that I could really get it. So enjoy the podcast and stay tuned for the end when I take a nasty spill. Welcome everybody to the OMG Wrestling Podcast. I am Tony Pizza Guy or Anthony Douglas, joined by my colleague Jack Lubass. We don't have a whole bunch of fancy cameras around us this time because we're live behind us. We have Magnum Mania. You can see Michael Monsoon's down there, I believe. We have some trainees down there.
Michael Monsoon.
There's a whole bunch of people down there. So we thought we'd do this. Quiet down. We're trying to do a podcast.
It might be loud with some bumps in the ring, but
we're trying to do this podcast live because we thought it'd be fun to do that. So we'll kind of run you through what we do here at Magnum. It'll be a kind of fun little behind-the-scenes journey, I think. We'll talk about WrestleMania. We'll talk about a wrestler who died in the ring. I don't know what to say. We'll talk about
soon.
I'm not going to touch that one. And then we're going to talk about the fans who got kicked out of Monday Night Raw, who were sort of like independent workers, but also fans and stuff like that. So we'll see as this podcast progresses on. Anything you want to start off with? I mean, it's pretty much an open forum right here. It's kind of different not having.
Yeah, it's.
I'm used to having the mic just there, and
I'm not used to having my arms do work.
I feel like I'm doing like when we do Magnum stuff. It's like, so what do you think about the match tonight?
I know. I feel like I should be in character and like gimmick and stuff like that. Like I feel like I should be pumping up a show right now.
Well, first thing I'll start off with right now is saying that we got our shirts made.
Yes, we did. And
these shirts will actually be available in California when we're out there. So if you're out there and you see us there and you want to pick up a shirt, it'll be $20. It's just to support the movie.
It'll help go towards the movie.
Yeah, it's going. All the proceeds are going towards the movie. So I want to thank the people that did donate on Indiegogo because they helped with these shirts. It says "I'm a Mark," and then on the back it's got the logo. I can't really tell how it looks, but
it's a pretty awesome shirt.
I'm
not just saying that.
And you got the Magnum Pro shirt and the press pass. I didn't bring my press pass, but
that's all access. How are you up here? This is an all access area, so.
So we got that. There's I don't know anything. Let's talk about Magnum.
Yeah, we might as well. We're here at Magnum.
What would you say you do here?
What do you say I do here at Magnum? At Magnum, I mean, I was brought on a couple years ago as a guy to start filming for them. And then we progressively started getting bigger, brought a couple other camera guys on. I then did entrance videos and edited the shows together and put packages together.
Yeah, because it's been a different time since like when you first came in. Now I don't know if you can see behind us, but we have a TV, whole entrance lights and all that. So like, it's so much different than like if a guy wants to change his theme song, they can't just like.
There's a lot goes into it. You can't just
change your theme song. You have to make the video.
Yeah, and its thing is like we've taken this is like a pretty higher end indie wrestling fed.
I would say as far as production value goes.
Yeah, production value.
There's a lot of the indie feds that just like they just come out and they wrestle and they put on stories that way, and that's a fine way to run it if that's how you want to do it. But
no wrong or right way.
We're just about like if you're gonna do it, you got to have like the whole pizzazz and the.
It's a show. It's theatrics here with our setup, but yeah. So now I do commentary for Magnum Pro. I help with the storylines and creative and all that stuff. But yeah, we have a whole crew now. We have Logan Davis.
You probably saw him walk in the back.
He's
over there
talented
texting.
Person. He's kind of taken over like doing camera work and making videos and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a fun time. I mean, we're getting good at setup. Usually this is like our fourth time at this venue doing a show, and
first time I think we did it was like we were running around in the snow trying to figure out where we're going.
First two shows were like blizzards, ice, and all that stuff, and it was sucky, but nice weather today. And it should be a good show. It's called Magnum Mania. Obviously, it's a spin-off of WrestleMania because it's that time of the year.
It's not our granddaddy of them all, but I will say it's
It's going to be a big show.
Yeah, it's
I feel like I'm selling people on this show. Like,
yeah, you
get your
should
tickets at Magnum Pro.
drive out to Omaha, Nebraska from wherever you're at and watch this show.
Get a DeLorean. Go back in time 2 days ago or 3 days ago, whenever this is posted. But, so this show's going to be awesome. And I guess I don't really want to change gears, but I'm just thinking about it. Like, by the time this is posted, you'll be, like, packing and leaving to go to WrestleMania because it'll be like Tuesday night, Wednesday.
It's only a few short days away because we're driving out there, so we're leaving Wednesday. So
you're driving out there. I'm flying out there.
Yeah, you're flying out there because you're a big
first
star.
Class.
But
no, not first class. I've never flown first class.
The rest of us slackers are going to drive out there.
I'm actually glad it's working out this way because then you can take all the equipment because I would not want that equipment in my flight. No way, no
I wouldn't
how.
trust any of the people that handle baggage at the airports with anything. I mean, I don't care how secure it is, what kind of case it is. Those people that do that just throw shit on top of each other.
There's like some story. I think I already talked about this before, but some guy he had some nice Jordans in his bag, and then those got stolen by the airline or whoever it was.
I don't doubt it. I mean, I try not to fly. I hate flying. I hate heights. Yeah. The only time I have to fly is for when my work sends me out and I have to fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I don't know, if I had to fly all the time, I don't want to say kill myself because I don't condone suicide, but I'd probably punch myself or something. I don't know. But
the last thing you flew to Vegas though on your own?
No, that wasn't the last time I flew. I went to Vegas and then just a month or so ago I went to New Orleans for work.
Let me ask you, are your arms tired?
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't. It's no. I'm excited about WrestleMania. I know we've changed topics from Magnum Pro to WrestleMania, but yeah, the more and more it gets closer to the time to go, I'm like super excited. I mean, it's just going to be an experience that I'm glad I can finally experience.
I don't want to really give our thoughts on Mania because we've done that over and over and over again, but I do want to put this out there. They did announce there's going to be an NXT tournament of style to figure out who's going to be in the Battle Royal, the Andre Battle. I had a brain fart at the moment. Who's going to be in the Andre Battle Royal? And I think it's like Tyler Breeze, Adrian Neville, and those are the only two that I actually think could possibly win it. So, any thoughts on that? I think it's taking place on Thursday, so that kind of sucks. So we're not even going to be able to see that, which I don't understand why they're not doing it on Friday night when they have the big NXT show.
Who knows with why they book things the way they do. I mean, I feel that if it was up to Triple H, NXT would be like a pre-show before Mania.
Yeah.
But I think Vince feels very threatened by NXT, and rightfully so. So I think as much as Triple H, like kind of like how we are when we have ideas here at Magnum that we think are really good, but then we have to run it through like the owner. And it gets shot down. I think that's kind of like how it is for Triple H. He's just like, I have such a good thing going on
what's
here.
also very interesting is they're going to have like 24-hour, I think it's 24-hour coverage. I could be wrong. Is that correct? 24-hour coverage of Access and stuff?
By the way, we're talking to Logan Davis off camera.
No, they're at WrestleMania Access today. It's like a couple hours special on the network. So.
I thought they were doing live stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so live stuff from Access. And they might do the NXT event live from that, but I'm not sure, or maybe they're doing a taping. I'm not sure, but it's going to be pretty interesting to like. That's what when I heard the network was coming on, I know they were going to do live content. That's the kind of stuff I would like to see on the network. Like I thought they should do house shows and air those live because I thought that was a cool concept. But Access stuff is going to be cool for people that haven't been there.
Filming house shows, I think, would be a terrible idea because, as Frank said, like he loves going to the house shows because they can get away with more because there's no cameras there.
Yeah.
When you start putting that stuff on online or on the network for people to view, then it's just like, they're going to have to follow guidelines, and it's going to become like another Raw where things are done kind of poorly.
Well, I don't know because Triple H said that they run NXT for that crowd, that male demographic that watches the network. He said not everybody watches the network, and they play to the strength for that. So I don't know.
I just know NXT, and I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it again. It's like the best thing out there right now.
Yeah,
it's
going to be so cool just to finally get to an NXT event. And let's talk about NXT for a little bit. We'll talk about the Columbus, Ohio show which I thought was very weird the way they did the setup. It's similar to what we
very
have set
similar
up.
to this. They got the stage, and I thought it was very weird how they walked down the side of the stage, down the stairs. That was kind of a...
There's so many different ways you can do a wrestling show with a stage like that. I've seen actually companies do their show on the stage, and then fans look at it from the crowd.
Interesting.
And that works more when it's like a theater seating, you know?
Right.
But I still think that's not good. And it was weird when they had the fans up there, like you said, and then they, instead of coming down an entrance ramp, they just like walked to the side.
Except for Hideo, didn't he? Or no, it was
Kalisto.
Yeah, Kalisto. He's the first one. He jumped off onto his trampoline, although they don't want people to know it was a trampoline.
I know they hide the trampoline.
Like, we're expecting
how does he springs in his shoes?
Yeah, but one thing you pointed out too that I thought was kind of interesting is that they only had 3 cameras.
Yeah, I was watching and I was trying to figure out
1 hard cam and 2 handhelds, which was interesting.
And it was a different hard cam too because it was at the entrance.
Yeah, and the hard cam wasn't centered either, which was I was throwing me off when I was watching it because I watched a lot of wrestling too for the tech side of things. 'Cause that's what we do. But it was interesting. But I don't know. I like the idea that NXT is now kind of doing different venues besides Full Sail University.
It gives me that vibe of like when ECW came back in WWE and then they started doing those smaller arenas before they went with Raw and SmackDown, which I hope to God they don't do that and start touring with Raw and SmackDown because
well, then that'll be the death of NXT if that's the case.
Good because then they can get that touring exposure, different crowds, all that, and they can learn it.
Well,
and then it's a great atmosphere.
I love watching the backstage interviews they do with the NXT roster.
Yeah.
Like, they're just so excited about things. Like, Charlotte Flair, she was just like, her interview, she's like super excited, like almost even getting teary-eyed.
What was crazy about it is she was like, I was at WrestleMania, but this seemed kind of like my WrestleMania being here.
I mean, that's, I just hope they keep the 2 brands separate. Like, everyone knows NXT is WWE, but I just hope that they don't, like, roll over into each other.
Yeah, like I said, when they tape before Raw or SmackDown, that's not good.
They might try. And I look at this like the Ascension and the Lucha Dragons.
Yeah,
they were on Superstars, and it was weird because you watch. I'm not a fan of the Ascension. I don't think they're really as good as everybody says they are, which is why I'm glad they went to the main roster because they can get pooped on up there, and I don't really care. But there's a big difference between their match against the Lucha Dragons in NXT days than the one that they had on Superstars. You could tell they were just being held back more.
Yeah, and it's the thing about the NXT crowd too. Like they like it, but I forgot what I was going to say because I heard Mikey
in his big mouth. He doesn't need a microphone.
No, but what I was going to say is I think the NXT crowd likes it more, and they're more into like the lucha. Like the whole crowd will be like lucha.
Oh yeah.
But then when you get to WWE, there's like
they're like
Cena.
Like
2 people doing it.
Or yes,
calling it WWE, but it's not.
I thought our light over here went out, but Mikey's messing with the lights.
So it's just a different vibe, and
definitely
if they took it to WWE, it would ruin it. And talking about the Columbus show, they did the stage was sort of like a guardrail itself as they used it as like a barrier there and then back and then there and then they had the weird like the fans were like looking at the ring. Did you see that from that where they were sitting
on stage?
Not on stage, across from the stage. There was a seating like that and there was a fence up there and it was like they were looking directly at the ring.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they did that. That's when Alex Riley got thrown into that little fence thing up there.
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever. They were like, so it was a very weird setup, and like when Finn Balor came out, and he was standing there, and then like Kevin Owens was down, so he's like looking down at Kevin Owens, and I was like, this is awkward.
Yeah. That's the thing I like about NXT is because they try different things. They're not afraid to try things. Like it's only a matter of time. I think I'm thinking Mania they may debut this before WWE has the LED LCD.
Oh yeah, the LED ring. The RIP. It wasn't there at the Full Sail.
No, it wasn't.
The Ohio one.
But yeah, I mean, they try new things, and it's like it's interesting. And I think that's the thing too is like Vince kind of tries things out there because maybe some of these are Vince's ideas, and he wants to try it for the main roster. But he's like, let's test it out on NXT
that's a good
first.
test. And I really do like the LED entrance.
Oh yeah.
Or the ring apron because then you can just like change it for whatever. And guess I don't know. I like it, but I don't, because then again, you get to that point where they don't have any more custom pay-per-view entrances anymore, because they all have that same LED setup, and it's just the same. Like, I remember when there was like Bad Blood, they had like blood drops.
Oh yeah, that was my thing about the pay-per-views, was seeing what the set was going to be.
Or like one of them, it was like raining, I remember, like Backlash or something. And
my favorites, there's two that I can think of pay-per-view setups. The Backlash one, where they had the trussing in the shape of like hooks, and they were like moving like that.
I always thought they were going to get hit by it.
Oh, I'm surprised. Maybe they did, and I don't remember it, but I always thought they were going to use that for a spot, where somebody was going to get hooked on it and like get swung around. But I also loved the Armageddon set with all the stone and the fire.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
That was like, I missed the Armageddon pay-per-view. Like, that honestly was like one of my favorite pay-per-views.
I was never a fan of Armageddon. It just, that and Judgment Day just were they were pretty much the same pay-per-view for me. But
I mean, it picked up like my two memories that I have from like Armageddon was it was going to be a ladder match for the tag team titles, and it was William Regal and I forget who the other guy was, but they were taking on another team that was kind of stupid, and then they added Eminem.
Oh yeah,
and then the Hardy Boys. That was when Joey Mercury got fucked up.
That's when he took the ladder straight to the nose and bled and like just gushed out.
Oh, that was like instant. And then when Jeff Hardy won the title for the first time, I think that was like the following year.
Yeah,
maybe 2 years after that. But I mean, that was a good pay-per-view to end the
That
year on.
was a SmackDown one too, that Armageddon.
Yeah, it was.
So then when they did that, it was just crazy. But your favorite's not WrestleMania 18?
Dude, that was like that's where they emptied out their warehouse. WWE's just like, let's get every trussing thing that we have and let's put it together. I mean, that to me, it goes down in history as probably, I think, a bottom worst WrestleMania.
Worst. I like the classic, like the ones where they would like open the doors or they would slide open.
Yeah,
those
that tunnel that they'd walk through.
Yeah, I always thought those were cool, but like, yeah, that trussing, I don't know what that was. It was in front of the video screen too, like the Titantron.
It was such a I don't know. I just remember when that WrestleMania 18 came out and we were watching it on pay-per-view for the first time. We're just like, what the fuck is this? This is like, it's like so much trussing. Like, there was probably like well over like 55,000 tons worth of trussing.
Yeah, it was. You can never trust WrestleMania 18.
Yeah, don't trust it.
But yeah, so it was. It definitely goes down as one of the worst sets. I mean, there's been pretty bad ones. I just don't like the graphic thing. I like more of like the visually pleasing things.
Oh right.
Even the old Raw set was cool with the. It was so simple, but it just had those like lights, and the WWF logo.
Oh yeah.
Came out. That was pretty cool.
Well, the one thing about the old Raw set, the old Titantron, or the Titantron ramp and staging and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Remember back when Undertaker was like feuding with the Hardys and Lita, and he threw Lita, or first he gave Jeff Hardy the last ride off the staging, and then threw Lita off onto him. Do you remember that?
Not really.
Well, what I'm getting at is the staging for it was like so high up. Like, if you fell off that, it was like a 15-foot drop.
Oh yeah.
And now the stage for it is seriously like you can step up on it, because working with the WWE camera guy when they came to Omaha for my one job, like we were so close to the set, and it's just like, wow, that's like you can't do any spots off the stage anymore because it's not really anything big. It's basically like if falling off the ring apron from falling off the set is like higher than.
Yeah, I think you're like thinking of like Backlash when Foley jumped off that, and then like WrestleMania 17 where Kane jumped off of it,
right?
In Big Show, that huge drop of it. But now it's just like.
Well, they don't do anything cool anyways, like off the stage.
They pushed Zack Ryder in a wheelchair off.
Yeah,
it's
basically he could just like have stood up and he was fine because it wasn't that far of a drop. But
yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Let us know in the comments below what's your favorite entrance of all time is,
and least favorite.
I kind of really talk about TNA. I like the little tunnel thing they had at TNA. Where they would come through that, and then they had a weird camera angle inside of it. Do you remember that?
Oh,
it was almost like a GoPro or something.
I copied that for one of the shows that we did here for Magnum because I just like the idea of like seeing them from behind walk out.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Didn't they have the same set across? They had two of the same entryways.
They did. At one point, they had a face and a heel one.
I mean, that's that's one thing we're working on for Magnum is like a better like
a better setup. But
I've just messaged the guy and he hasn't got back to me. Like he was supposed to get back to me today with the quote for this idea we have, which you guys don't care, so we'll stop talking about it.
No, but yeah. So like I don't know. I just like the more practical things where it's like you don't have to spend a ton of money on it, but like just the fact like King of the Ring when the guys would open the doors,
right?
Like that's simple but cool looking. You know,
Yeah,
it just adds that little dynamic. It
fit the whole theme of the King of the Ring pay-per-view, but simple is a lot sometimes better than going extravagant and stuff.
I like the ECW set too for when they brought it back and they had like all those light bars.
Right.
It was just a million light bars.
That was a great set. Actually the best set is that documentary we watched the other day for that indie fed.
What was that place called? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember, but I just know that they had like an entryway that was like bed sheets, strobe lights, and the beacon siren lights, and that was it.
Like
it was so
one
terrible.
of those sirens that you put on top of a cop, you know, like the old cop ones.
The beacon lights.
Put it on there, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's cool, but we were looking up that John Cena prototype documentary, which is kind of fun to watch too.
It is. Well, let's talk about that a little bit here.
We got independent wrestling. These are like, this is the place where people get started before they get to the WWE.
Right.
So,
and that's what this documentary was. It was on like A&E or Discovery or something like that.
I think it was A&E.
I remember it from when I was little, and I showed it to you because you said you didn't see it. But it was like John Cena when he was training, and it was like his first time at a school, and
he was a prototype. He was like,
he stood out to the the trainers and stuff, and it was funny because you watch it and they're talking about like the one guy's like, yeah, I see something in this John Cena. I think he's going to be the future of,
and you're
of
like,
wrestling, and it's just like that could not be any more true.
Back then, you're like, yeah, right. Who's that? What are you talking about?
This guy can't do that, but yeah, it's. And it was cool because the end of it was when he got his WWE like apparently he was an independent wrestler for like a week, and then he moved on to WWE. And got
they showed him train, and then like they must have edited the video weird or like did a time thing because they did not like explain time very well in that documentary because they did like he did it and then he was in WWE. It was like what? He had like one match and that was it.
It was like one match and he was in WWE and he did that prototype gimmick. I mean, he killed it. He was really good at it. But it's just that thing of watching, like, to think of what John Cena is today. He could possibly go down as like one of the biggest wrestlers of all time.
Probably, as
and
far
it's
as
just like that was his start, and it wasn't scripted. It was real, and it's just cool. And I just think of that guy that said that thing about Cena. It's like, man, I don't think that guy can speak anything more true in his life. Unless
it was just like a WWE underground documentary that they were trying to make to put it out there.
It's possible. That was at the time when WWE was actually kind of clever with things that they would do.
Yeah.
So. But no, look it up. All I did was go to YouTube and typed in John Cena prototype documentary, and it pulled it up.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
I would watch it. It's interesting.
It's cool to see some of those documentaries because that's like kind of inspiring me for Marks.
Right.
Like just going and watching like all these weird wrestling documentaries, and that's like what I want to do with Marks, which we're going to start at Mania, which is going to be kind of cool. Just going there and being able to film. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can barely hear you, but we'll
But just going to Mania and just experiencing it and getting all the fans and all that and just kind of starting there.
This is called running the ropes, and he did it like 100 miles per hour. But yeah, going to Mania and experiencing it, and just like the thing about Mania is there's people from all over the world there, so you're getting fans from everywhere.
Yeah, and then like I said, just watching these documentaries about like when you see these, like I kind of try to look at the fan side of it as you're seeing it, not the wrestler side, because like I want to get like that inside scoop on like what the fans think. When you see like a really low independent show, man, those shows are great, but like some of the fans are just ridiculous, and you'll never know until you like run into these people, like some of these toothless hillbillies.
Exactly. Well, I want to tell like people that are listening to this. I mean, I don't know what your wrestling if you just watch WWE and the stuff that they have on TV. I recommend that you like look up independent wrestling, because I'm not trying to just plug our thing that we're doing, but look at Magnum Pro Wrestling. Go to magnum-pro.com and look at the stuff. I mean, there's videos up there. We have some free matches on YouTube and stuff. And then also like look at PWG and just look up these independent things, because it's like it's different. It's the alternative to WWE. And I mean, if you like WWE, I mean that's fantastic and stuff. I don't hate it, but I mean, you should like get a wide variety of these different wrestling organizations just so you can get a better respect and understanding for like where guys like John Cena, where they started.
Yeah, I know.
And they didn't start in WWE. This is like where they started.
Like if you see Brock Lesnar, he started at he was in OVW for a while
Right.
and just learning that craft. And there's something I want to point out about this documentary. Because I said like toothless hillbilly fans or whatever.
Yeah.
The idea is not to make fun of
No,
wrestling
no.
fans, because that's not what we want to do. There are some weird wrestling fans out there, and I will be 100% honest that I'm a weird wrestling fan too. You are too, because anybody that collects action figures and watches things every week and does a podcast on it is a weirdo. Like,
first of all, I don't collect action figures.
okay,
So.
pop vinyl
Yeah.
figure.
There we go.
But yeah, so I'm not out here. We're not out here to make a documentary where you make fun of the fans or laugh at them, but we have to show all sides of the wrestling fans. We have to show the big ones like Frank the Clown, who's like, this is so weird to say, like a top WWE fan.
Right. Yeah. He's the one of the John Cenas, maybe Randy Orton of
so we talk about
fans.
We talk about that, and then we obviously have to go to like the smaller shows and just pick out those guys. And
There's so much. They're better. You're gonna get like when you come to like an independent show or whatever like that, you're gonna get like a full show, like full all around, like wrestling, talking, storylines. It's if you go to the right one,
right?
but yeah, their independent wrestling is like, honestly, I think it's becoming almost bigger than WWE.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're gonna start at WrestleMania, and then I think we're gonna go around Midwest area probably at the beginning.
Which we just today too, we cast our second person that we're going to kind of focus on for Marks.
His name's Petey, we'll call him Petey. He's going to be our other one, and it's not again, it's not to make fun of him or not to make fun of Frank or Noel or whoever else is going to be in our movie. It's just to kind of cast this, get their view on wrestling, and like
Pete he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to professional wrestling. But you could probably ask him anything from any wrestling organization in the past, and he'll tell you.
Yeah,
what
he can tell you like the number
encyclopedia.
Of how many Magnum events there have been.
Mm-hmm.
He just knows it all. So that's kind of what we want to begin with, I guess, and then just see where this goes and kind of play it by ear. I know I wanted to go do a JCW, but that was $180
for
to
like
get in.
What did you say? Like 5 days of shows or something like that?
I mean, there's 5 days of shows. It's like a whole morning to night like fiasco. But I don't want to do anything but the wrestling shows. But apparently, we're gonna have to go to a concert.
No way.
Fago Moon Mist and all that weird stuff.
I'm sorry, I can't. I can't stand Insane Clown Posse, like their music. So
I kind of want to go, just because it's almost like a bucket list thing, you know. Like once you're there, you're like, okay.
Right. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Like, not having to pay for this out of our own pocket is really kind of limited us on what we can do for this.
Yeah,
but I mean, we're gonna try to keep our eyes like big, like they were, like the big picture.
Right, because we're still going through with this. We're still doing it, and our ultimate goal, WrestleMania 31, WrestleMania 32, and then in between we'll figure it out. But just know Frank the Clown wants to come to NXT with us.
Right.
I mean, he's going to be there in San Jose, but he wants to go to another one.
We were talking about with Pete just before going to Chikara.
Yeah, Chikara's got a show in like June or July, I think. So that'll be fun. So definitely a lot to talk about. But
let's to support the film, go to amamark.com.
I need to make a website now because I don't have anything up there right now. But we do have a link if you want to support it. And something I didn't really mention, which I guess it's going to be launched or it's not launched, but we are on iTunes now. So
yes,
omgwrestling.com. You can download it on iTunes and all that fun stuff. So that is an option as well from now on if you want to listen to it. Because I know there's people out there who just like to download it, and then, like me, if I'm going on a trip to WrestleMania, download a bunch of podcasts so I'm ready to go.
Right.
I can listen to them in the plane.
Yeah, when you're traveling, it's a great thing to do. When you're at night, when you go to bed, that's what I do, is put on like a podcast and listen to it and stuff. Ours has visuals with it, which I know this one's going to be really boring because it's just us sitting and stuff. Yeah, you're probably watching what's going on behind us.
But if you want to see if you want to hear the audio version, we can put that on iTunes as well, so that'll be on there. So that's something to think about. I don't know that I really want to talk about it. as much as just like mention what happened with the AAA Rey Mysterio incident.
Well, why don't you explain what happened?
I can't give his name justice. Pero Aguayo Jr., I believe. Aguayo Jr. I don't know what to say about this. He died in the ring wrestling Rey Mysterio. I guess what happened was he was going for the 619, drop kicked him in his throat, hit the rope so hard he didn't protect himself, and then it snapped his neck, and then Ray did the 619. And
Well, attempted to.
I don't encourage anybody to go seek out that video. I saw it once, halfway through, and I had to stop it.
It's pretty disturbing. I mean, I'm a horror director and stuff like that, and I watch a lot of weird videos like that for, I guess, continuity or something like that, just so like I can see if I'm gonna have somebody get their arm chopped off. Okay, well, I might watch a video of somebody actually getting their arm chopped off just to see the
just to make it look as real as possible.
But it is pretty like the video that we found, I don't know if the full thing is up, but you don't actually see the drop kick when he goes into the rope. When it snaps his neck, he's already in the rope and he's lifeless. And is it Homicide? Who is it that's holding him?
Conan was there.
But it was like Suicide or somebody. Was
Manic or whatever was there.
Yeah, he was holding him in the ropes. But Mysterio went to do the 619, and he didn't connect because obviously the guy's supposed to like stand up and put his hands up. Well, this guy's dead, so it looks like Mysterio just like faked everybody out with the 619, and from what it looked like is like the guys just in the ring figured he was knocked out. They didn't.
Yeah, and like what happened was like Conan came out, and this I believe was like AAA, and Conan came out. I didn't actually see this part, but Logan was telling me about it. Conan came out and trying to revive him and stuff. You know, like they just figured he was knocked out. Like if he took a bump and he was knocked out, that's all I thought. And then like again, I don't want to say that it's because it was in Mexico, but because it was in Mexico, I don't think they had the best medical staff.
Well,
I'm sure they have a good medical staff, but I don't believe they.
His neck snapped. He was dead. I guarantee you, the second his neck hit that rope and it snapped, because I'm sure there were really tight cables. I mean, watching it, I guess I would watch it again to see if the ropes look like they're loose or anything like that. But I'm assuming it was the positive thing we could probably take from this is that it was probably a very quick death for this guy. I'm sure his neck just snapped and he was dead, because if you watch the video where it starts off, I mean, there's not much time once Mysterio drop kicks somebody in the rope and then hits the 619. It's pretty much instant. He kicks him, bounces into the ropes. The video starts with him bouncing in the rope, so the guy is pretty lifeless at that point. I mean, so I'm assuming
I know what you're saying. Like, there's nothing they could do, but like, for them to just like, again, I can't judge him because I probably would think that he's just knocked out.
Right.
But it's like maybe just some hope that if they could immediately get him on a gurney and get him to back, they could save his life. But
yeah,
I doubt that was possible.
I doubt that there was anything that could have been done. But it's sad.
It was just like a freak accident too. It's like not Ray's fault. It's just a freak accident.
Well, people are gonna the jokes are gonna start. I mean, we kind of, when we first heard about it, like, I don't know if it was real or not. Like you guys were saying, like, this guy died in the ring with Mysterio. I'm thinking, he sold a move really good and like it looked like he died or something.
Yeah, because you never know, because people use that word way too much. Like, he killed him.
Yeah, right.
It's like, you didn't actually do that.
But there's going to be the jokes and people talking about like Rey Mysterio dialing up 911 or something like that, just making stupid jokes and stuff. But I mean, the fact is, this is it's a dangerous business. People don't realize that, and I mean, that's part of the reason why WWE is so strict on
they've
rules.
Changed a lot of their policies, like they're no more headshots.
They're trying to protect their wrestlers, and I understand that aspect, but I think it's understood that the guys that are in the business now watched it when it was at its peak, when these guys were taking chair shots and going through tables and getting thrown off the stage and stuff, and that's why they wanted to do it. So they knew the risks that were involved in it.
And that's probably one of like the least dangerous things. Like a drop toe hold into the rope is like probably one of the most least dangerous things could possibly happen.
That's exactly why these guys are training behind us. These are trainees that are just breaking into the business. They haven't had matches yet, I'm assuming, and they're learning And that's because, I mean, Jason Strife, Nate, the owner, he said it best to the guys earlier. I was listening when he said that you always need to be learning. He's just like, Strife's been doing this for a long time. He's been wrestling around the world.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm still learning. He's like, that's the mindset, is that you have to constantly keep learning. Even when you make it in the WWE, you have to keep learning. Because this guy, I'm sure he was very well trained. He's probably had hundreds upon maybe even thousands of matches. And it's just that one slip up and he didn't get his arms up to like take the brunt of the force, and he snapped his neck. So, I mean, it's dangerous, and that's why you should appreciate what these guys do in the ring.
Yeah, you have to learn the proper way to do things, and just like, I don't know.
You can't. And when these people say wrestling is fake, it's like, well, was this guy's death fake? No, it wasn't.
Well,
I mean,
wrestling isn't wrestling, as we saw in that video.
It's dangerous. So, but yeah,
so
it's hopefully, you know, his family can maybe take the positive away that, I mean, he died doing what he loved.
Yeah.
I know it sucks that you lost somebody, and I mean, there's no easy way or anything that anybody can say but to make it better, but hopefully they can make peace with this. And
yeah, it's a sad
let's not blame Rey Mysterio, because he didn't do anything.
No.
So but let's with that said, let's
after we killed them, we have everything.
Let's move on to the Raw that was in Des Moines. There's I don't know if you've seen the picture. It might still be up. I'm sure you can Google it. But there were 10 guys that had front row seats for Raw.
Yeah.
This past Monday, and they were all dressed up like WWF superstars from the past, like Ultimate Warrior, Big Boss Man. I think one was even dressed up like the Mountie.
There was IRS was in there.
Yeah, they looked exactly like these guys, and they had front row. And apparently, after the show started, WWE, some guys from WWE came up to him and told him that they need to change out of their costumes into these WWE shirts that they gave them. And if they didn't do it, then they were going to force them to go sit somewhere else and replace them with somebody else. Which one of the guys in the group said he put his email that he sent to WWE up there, and wasn't being mean to WWE, but he had just said to him, like, you know, our tickets were $100 each. That's $1,000 that we just put towards your product, and you're telling us we can't do this. And it's not like they weren't drunk, they weren't rowdy. But the guy basically, he's just like, I want an explanation on why we had to do this. I mean, it's, to me, I think the whole thing is messed up. I've heard stories about WWE doing that, or like if people have signs that say something that they they'll take it down. Like,
which I don't know why security in the door doesn't like catch them. You know.
Well, let me. I'm gonna explain that, because that was my job.
Okay.
At CenturyLink Center, I was crowd
control,
manager, which is basically security. And, you know, we surround the ring. There's some of us are the ones that check bags and make sure that people, if we need a pat down or whatever.
Yeah.
Every event's different. The event, concert or wrestling, like, they will tell you what they want. Like if it's a rap concert, and like, this is stereotyping, but this isn't me, but like, we do wanding and pat downs to check for guns and stuff like that.
Is it the arena is telling you, or is
no?
Like
it's the
entertainer.
The entertainer. So if like Lil Wayne was coming,
he's like,
he wants people wanded down to make sure there's no guns brought in. We do that. WWE's policy was basically you have to check bags and stuff like that. That's standard in anything that you do. But when it comes to signs, you have to look at them. And it's not like they would give you a thing like, well, if it says CM Punk, you can't have it. But they're just like, use your judgment. If it's like, my mom's a cocksucker or something like that, or Vince likes it in
By
the
the way,
ass.
His mom is not. Well, maybe. I mean,
I
he
don't
was
know
created
about that.
one
Let's
day.
shut up about that. But
think about that, though. No, I'm just kidding.
No, let's not think about that.
Your mom had to create you somehow.
But back to the story. So yeah, I mean, we do our best, but you know, you're thinking if upwards from like 16 to 17,000 people.
If like you're not a fan of the product, or you know, like you don't watch wrestling, so you don't know what.
Yeah.
Like if someone had I'm sure. Do they tell you about like Benoit signs and stuff?
No. They leave that up to like their security, I think, to like look and make sure. But it's just a thing that, you know, you're not gonna be able to check every single sign that goes in there, but it's just you use your common sense, and but they're big lead. WWE's got big heads. We've learned this from experiences. And
so
stuff.
did they?
But
when you were working there, did they have a policy on costumes and dressing up or anything like that?
No, and that's the thing. It's just like this is WWE is their universe that they created is so ridiculous. Like I've said this before, Vince is like a big patriotic man.
Yeah,
like he loves his country, the USA, and blah 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 blah. And you know, USA freedom of speech and all this stuff, but yet people don't have the freedom to do what they want. Like in wrestling, like you can't dress up in costume. I mean, what was so bad about what they were wearing?
That it's taking away from the athletes and the wrestlers in the ring?
Well, that should say something about your product. That if people are watching people in the front row and not the people in the ring, maybe that's something on your end, Vince, that you're putting on boring.
I mean,
shit.
I guess I've seen like funny guys in the row. I'm like, oh, that guy's dressed like Stone Cold and he looks exactly like him, and then I'll just keep watching the action again.
I mean, how many times have we seen a guy dressed up like Hulk Hogan or Macho Man?
Yeah. I mean, I used to actually do that when I would go to events. I'd dress up like wrestlers and do that.
And the thing is these guys were like, they weren't being rowdy. They weren't being drunk.
Some people
or
were saying they were local workers from the area.
Well, not even so. It's just like, it's not like they had signs that said they're wrestling.
Is that a thing, though, that like they should know because they're local workers, that they should know not to do that? Because if someone did that in their match, they probably wouldn't like it. Well, like I can see that. Like if you're, think about that Raw after Mania last year, when they were talking about like fans were starting to chant weird stuff, and like when I think it was Orton and Sheamus or somebody were wrestling. I think it was Raw last year. Orton and Sheamus were wrestling, and they were like talking about the cotton candy guy and chanting that. Wouldn't that piss you off? Like. Or is that just your fault?
That's you need to change your product. I mean, Orton and Sheamus. How boring is that? How many times have we seen that? But this is the thing here too. Is okay. Let's look at it this way. There's been times at pay-per-views where there's several kids in the front row dressed up like John Cena. That's the exact same thing as these guys. They're dressed up. They're having fun, and it's just I don't know. WWE, and this is the thing that the guy said is funny, is that they were being bullied around by the WWE staff, and as they were bullying them around, on the screen behind them was their Be a Star campaign. So as they're trying to promote this anti-bullying group, the WWE executives or whatever they are were bullying these fans around, telling them to change and take off, or else you can get out.
I think they're just being stern security guys.
No,
sometimes you have to. I don't know.
I think WWE is
in the end, it's probably
just
the call of
so
someone
full of themselves that they
it's a call of like the upper people in WWE, and if you're paying to go to their show, I mean, they can choose what to do. It's kind of like a.
But they're not doing anything. That's the thing. It's
because in wrestling you can chant whatever you want. It's kind of like a heckler,
right?
And a comedian. If there's somebody heckling you, you're going to be like, shut up, and I'm telling the jokes, not you, so shut up. So them dressing up was sort of like a heckling, but I was just paying tribute to what they were doing. I mean,
I could see if they were acting like the wrestlers and stuff like that, or making fun of the wrestlers, but they weren't. They were excited about what they were doing, and I just, Vince and his I'm holier than thou attitude that he has, that I'm a billionaire and a billionaire. He's a billionaire.
I can see both sides of the story where it's taking away from a product, and the fans aren't interested. They want to care about the wrestlers, but they don't care about the wrestlers. They care about these fans. So, and then I see their point where they're like, well, I say when you pay money to go see a show, you have to abide by their rules, whether you like it or not. It sucks. You don't have the freedom to do whatever you want at an event. I mean, people think because, I shilled $100, I can do whatever I want. Technically, that's not how it works.
If they were being rowdy and throwing chairs or causing a ruckus, definitely step in and do something. But when you're sitting there and not doing anything except dressed up.
I'm sure they were acting like Hogan and doing the stuff and all that. But I also heard that night they were taking away Daniel Bryan's signs too. I don't remember what the sign said, but it was something to do with Daniel Bryan.
Well, that's
And then
just
so,
ridiculous too.
It must be one of those towns where the security's different than other places, and they have like a really strict security going on at that time.
Well,
so.
like I said, it's all WWE. It's not the venue. The venue has nothing to do with anything that goes on. And that's the one thing I hated was when we have to enforce these rules at these shows.
They get mad at you.
The fans get mad at us. And I was one of the first people to be like, if you're mad, you can contact this person's manager because it's their decision on why we're doing this. So it's not the venue's fault in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a fine line because, like I said, you are paying money to go to their show, so you have to abide by their rules. And I mean, WWE, you said, their product is boring right now. They have the lowest ratings of like the year, and it's right before WrestleMania. And what does that say about it? I'm going to WrestleMania though.
Yeah,
love you WWE, but I'm just saying.
I don't hate WWE.
And I think that's what it is. I think
they're behind in
they're
times.
just so frustrated with like, why aren't we getting those good ratings? What's going on? Oh, it must be this guy in the crowd. And they're just blaming it.
They don't look in. They can't blame themselves. That's the problem. It's like it's got to be somebody else's fault because
they're looking for fault
we
elsewhere.
were really popular back in the day, and it's not our fault because we're trying to do the same thing even though you aren't. But it's I don't know. It's one of those things where
it's a thing. Well, I'm gonna say sorry interrupting you, but
you're fine.
It's
your
like
podcast.
it's like you're taking the fun out of being a fan.
Right.
It's like you think like Star Trek people. Nope, take that off. You can't wear that. Go put on this. It's like being a wrestling fan is one of those things where like you can like what you say to a wrestler. Like if you boo him, and WWE hears that, or like the promotion hears it, they will change their character based off of what you do. Mm-hmm. And you being a huge fan, it's like it's just killing the being a fan of wrestling.
This is my advice. If you're a huge wrestling fan, don't fork out all the money every time WWE comes to your town to go to it. I mean, go to it. I'm not saying don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to WrestleMania. This is the first live event I've paid for to go to in almost probably like 8 years or something like that. But I would save your money and go to an independent wrestling show. I guarantee you there's one near your city. You haven't gone to. I mean, you can say whatever the hell you want at these events. You can heckle the wrestlers. That's what independent wrestling is all about. They encourage that. We encourage that here. I mean, this place is rowdy. Like in a few hours, once we open the doors and this place packs, I mean, it gets rowdy in here, and the fans will not. They'll let you know how they feel about you, and that's why you should experience an independent. Just the difference between the big leagues and then the minor leagues, I guess you can call them.
Well, let's do this. We don't really do this on our discussions, but final debate: who's right, WWE or the fans? Your thoughts?
Well, without the fans, there is no WWE. So I think, just like in retail, the customer's always right.
Right.
The fan's always right. I mean,
not in WWE.
No.
Vince says it's right. Then this is the way it is.
I think I'm on the fans' side with things. I'm not as a company, and especially a company that's been around as long as WWE. You should learn to roll with the punches by now and not be. This is pretty much what I take that fan thing as is WWE being a tattletale.
Yeah, it's like I could see if they were dressing up like TNA guys and coming out.
Yeah, something like that I could see.
Oh well, I don't know. So you're siding with the fans.
Yes,
I'm gonna side with WWE, not as to the fact which I like what they did. I still think the fans should be allowed to come and cheer and do whatever they want, dress up, whatever, that's fine. But I think, like I said before, in the end, it's WWE's discretion on what they want to go on. They're just taking all the fun out of wrestling, and it's not good. But in the end, WWE does have the right. If they don't think you're cheering the way they want, they don't think you're doing what they're supposed to do, they can get rid of you for whatever reason, and it says so on the tickets too. So
I mean, if we use that way of looking at things for everything in life, I mean,
that's the way life works.
At my work, then, if a customer comes into my work and I don't like what they're wearing, or I don't like what they have in their shopping cart, I'm going to tell them to either buy this stuff right here or get out of my store, or you need to go home and change. I don't want to see your pale white legs and
shorts. Let me talk about
shorts.
this, though, because this kind of relates to what we're talking about. Chris Jericho, he was saying stuff on Twitter, kind of siding with Roman Reigns, saying, yeah, I back Roman Reigns. And a lot of flack from it, a lot of negative comments, a lot of stuff. And he basically said, I appreciate your guys' opinions, but any negativity, any mean comments, any something to this effect, I will block you. Thank you
got
and goodbye.
to him.
and that's the same, almost like the same mentality. Like the overall mentality is that, yeah, you can have an opinion as long as it's the same as my opinion.
Right.
And that's what the WWE, the fan T-shirt and dressing like Hulk Hogan is. Yeah, you can have an opinion as long as it's my opinion.
I mean, do you know how many people like hate me on your channel?
Yeah.
For many reasons.
For everything.
I mean,
you know, people hate me on my channel.
If I were to be like, you either like me or we're gonna kick you out, we're gonna unsubscribe you from Tony. I mean, that's stupid. I mean, I feel if people are hating me, depending on what the situation is, I'm doing my job. And it's just,
I don't understand why it gives right. I guess.
Well,
again, it's the thing where I say that it's your timeline, it's your product. You have the choice to run it how you want, but again, you're taking the fun out of it.
Well, don't make it public then. If you cannot stand what the negativity that's going to come with being a public figure like that, then you shouldn't be doing it. I mean, this place would be shut down with some of the negative things that people do.
I see it as
you roll with the punches.
You're just taking the fun out of everything by like Chris Jericho coming out. Well, if you're mean, you're blocked.
That just doesn't sound like Chris Jericho, though, because I also was just reading a thing about how Chris Jericho was saying that he is not going to be on WWE television because he does not feel that he needs to be on TV, that there are guys on the mid to lower card that deserve TV time, that he doesn't need to be taking away time from them that they deserve. If he feels that the time is right and it's the right storyline to maybe put somebody over, then he'll come back. But it's just like, I respect him for that.
Well, there's guys like CM Punk who just block people and no explanation at all. That's what he should have done. He should have just been like, you know what, block. I don't care. Nobody knows why, whatever. That's fine. And then that's what CM Punk does, because people always ask him wrestling questions and they say stuff about AJ Lee, and then he's just like, block. So,
well, you know, I mean, we're living in that age. This world is so they get butt hurt over everything.
It really, like, I feel like we're progressing as far as like advances where we have more freedoms, like a podcast or a Twitter or a Facebook, where you have the freedom to express yourself and put your opinions out there for everybody to see. But then it always comes down to this fact where if it's not my opinion, I don't like it.
Right. Well, and
it sucks.
The thing, like we were talking about, I don't know how much detail you want to go on with this, but like, you know, YouTube is like almost a lot more popular than like actual television and stuff like that. And like
apparently it's old media or traditional media, one or the other, and then new media. I'm not new media. I'm new media, which I don't understand what new media is. But
old media. Traditional media,
television,
they don't like this. They don't. I think the way they look at it is they feel like, you know, I had to fight and claw and scratch my way to the top, and all you have to do is put a video camera on you and upload it to the computer, and you're popular. It's not that it's less work.
No.
I mean, I understand that debate on some things, like the Jackass guys. They got popular from videotaping themselves kicking each other in the nuts. It's like, that takes no talent whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, I watch it, don't get me wrong.
But it takes hell of a talent to market that and make it successful.
But it's just like, you know, it's not. There are people that get stuff handed to them that don't deserve it. But like you've worked your ass off.
Yeah.
I've worked my ass off. I don't think I'm anywhere near making it. I still have a ways to go.
I don't think I've made it either.
Like,
it's like,
I know WWE does not like the fact that you probably have a podcast and all this stuff, and
I honestly don't know, but it's like nowadays in our pansy ass society, you can't have an opinion or you're gonna lose your job. People get fired because of what they say, and like some people could be joking. Like sometimes I post things and I'm like, should I really post that? Like, what if someone saw my timeline and there goes my sponsorship with this, or there
Right.
goes my.
Well, you got to be so careful with what you say these days because of social media sites, and if anybody has a grudge against you, they're going to do what they can to hold you down because people are spiteful like that.
It's just one of those things when you're trying to work with a company, and you want to do something for them, and you know that it's gonna, like, you have the right audience, like whether it be like a video game company, and you know that if I promote this game, I'm gonna help it grow, and then the company just straight out is like, nah, you know what? We would rather just do TV stuff. This guy does the Morning Blend in Omaha is a show. It's really hokey and lame. We'd rather have them come out instead of somebody who's on doing YouTube videos, as they call them. Like, it's like, really? That's what you're gonna do? You're gonna promote them instead of someone who would get way more views than them, instead of like a hokey Omaha morning show?
Right. Well, an example of what we're talking about too is like, working for Magnum Pro. I'm now an announcer. We're faces. People know our faces and stuff like that, and they follow us on YouTube, or Facebook, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, after the Royal Rumble, I had put a post on my characters page about what I thought about WWE's Royal Rumble and how I thought it was pretty pathetic and like the worst Rumble in history and blah blah blah. And I posted it up, and man,
got in trouble.
The higher powers here in Magnum told me to take it down because you can't be attached to Magnum Pro talking about WWE, and it's just like, I took it down, but I mean, I have an opinion. Who cares? It's not like I totally bashed it, and it's like it's not like anybody from WWE is watching my page. Like, hey, what are you doing?
Hey, we're shutting down Magnum
today. Right?
No, I get, man. It's such a weird, like, because I don't want to be on both sides of the fence, because I feel like playing that card is stupid, but I understand where everybody's got to be politically correct. Otherwise, you say one thing and you piss everybody off, and like. But then again, we're not like, it's not like we're using racial slurs and making fun of people, and we're saying our opinion. And apparently, in the place of time that we're at, an opinion isn't a good thing to have.
Right. Well, the thing is with the higher powers that run these companies, it's that whole thing of like, I'm probably going to totally butcher this, but thou that has not sinned can cast the first stone. Everybody's done it. I guarantee you, Vince McMahon, that guy has probably put his foot in his mouth so many times with things he said.
I think this is mostly the saying you're going for. Like, everybody has two things, or what it was, something like this. People have two things: opinions and assholes, or whatever.
Yeah,
I forgot what it was. It's something about you have an asshole and you have an opinion, and that's what it is. So, I mean, we could go on forever about this new media, traditional media, but ultimately, it is our goal to be new media and create a documentary with no strings attached. Not looking for a big budget company to fund our movie and then they can have it their way, because I don't want to make a movie that if I say something on the movie that some giant person above me is going to be like, this guy, nope, can't have that in the movie. I want it to be my vision, and that's why. And I just fell off my chair. Glad I got that on camera.
Oh my god. So that's a great way to wrap this up. I was just gonna say, I think we wanted to go about an hour. We're at 58 minutes. Are you all right?
Yeah, the chair just fell.
First of all, there's only 3 steps up here, but that thing sounded like it fell down like 100 steps. You're not editing that out. So. All right. Well, we're pretty much gonna end it here. We've been going an hour, so yeah. Next time you'll probably see us will be at WrestleMania. I think we're gonna try to do a podcast out there. So for Anthony Douglas, the chair that's all the way down there now, I'm Jack Lubash, and I'm jacking off.